Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory in the heavens. Through the praise of children and infants, you have established a stronghold against your enemies, to silence the foe and the avenger. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what is mankind that you are mindful of them? Human beings that you care for them. You have made them a little lower than the angels, and crowned them with glory and honor. You made them rulers over the works of your hands. You put everything under their feet, all flocks and herds, and the animals of the wild, the birds in the sky, and the fish in the sea, all that swim the paths of the seas. Lord, our Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. The earth, the earth. Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. In all the earth. Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory in the heavens. Through the praise of children and infants, you have established a stronghold against your enemies, to silence the foe and the avenger. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what is mankind that you are mindful of them? Human beings that you care for them. You have made them a little lower than the angels, and crowned them with glory and honor. You made them rulers over the works of your hands. You put everything under their feet, all flocks and herds, and the animals of the wild, the birds in the sky, and the fish in the sea, all that swim the paths of the seas. Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Lord our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Lord our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory in the heavens. Through the praise of children and infants, you have established a stronghold against your enemies, to silence the foe and the avenger. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what is mankind that you are mindful of them, human beings that you care for them? You have made them a little lower than the angels and crowned them with glory and honor. You made them rulers over the works of your hands. You put everything under their feet, all flocks and herds, and the animals of the wild, the birds in the sky and the fish in the sea, all that swim the paths of the seas. Lord our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth.
Into another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at Psalm 8.
Okay.
This one, like so many of the Psalms, is really a poetic reflection, and it's been something that people have been, thinking about and discussing for centuries. We've got King David to thank for this one. I mean, his lyrical genius is just wow.
Yeah, it's really something.
I mean, are you ready to kind of tackle some really big questions today about humanity's place in this vast universe?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And I think what's really interesting about Psalm 8 is how it starts. It starts with this feeling of awe.
Right.
Like this feeling of just being completely overwhelmed by the beauty of creation.
Yeah.
And it really sets the stage, I think, for everything that follows.
Yeah, I mean, I think about, even just me personally, right? Like, when I'm looking up at a night sky and it's full of stars, I kind of get that wow moment. But the poet doesn't stop at wow, right? I mean, it goes deeper than that, I think.
Exactly. So, I mean, the very first verse, right, it says, Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory in the heavens. Like that repetition of Lord at the beginning, that's a literary device called anaphora. And it really just emphasizes that reverence, draws attention to that. And then that imagery of the heavens, right? It's creating this sense of something far grander than what we can even comprehend.
Yeah, and so then, we're in this space of awe, and then comes this question that throws me for a loop every time I read it. It says, what is mankind that you are mindful of them? Human beings that you care for them.
Right.
And I mean, it's almost like after seeing all of this grandeur, the poet is then like grappling with how insignificant we are.
Yeah.
Like how insignificant we seem in comparison.
I think so, and I think that question is so relevant, right? Like it still resonates with us today.
Yeah.
In this face of this like massive universe, what makes humanity so special? I mean, it's a good question.
Right.
And the psalm acknowledges our fragility, our very fleeting existence.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it kind of elevates us. It puts us in this unique position within creation.
Right, which I guess is where this whole a little lower than the angels thing comes in, and crowned with glory and honor.
Yeah.
I mean, that honestly, that always felt a little bit confusing to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how can we be both insignificant and crowned with glory? Like, what does that even mean?
I think, well, there are a lot of interpretations of this passage, which I think is part of what makes it so fascinating. Some people, they see it as this reference to our dominion over nature, right? So like, we have the ability to cultivate, to build, to create.
Yeah.
We can even destroy on this planet. And other people kind of focus more on our capacity for reason, for creativity, even for moral understanding, qualities that really do set us apart from other creatures.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily about like literal crowns on our heads, right?
Yeah. Right.
It's more about like the potential that we have and the responsibility that we carry.
Exactly.
Maybe even, our connection to something greater than ourselves.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you interpret that part?
I think it is a combination of all of those things, right? Like it's like this affirmation of our inherent worth, I think, and our dignity, even while we have these very real limitations. We have this capacity for like great good and great harm, and that's what I think makes this passage so thought-provoking.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. And that kind of brings us, I think, to the idea of stewardship. And I think this is so relevant, especially for us now, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like the psalm talks about humanity being given rule over the works of creation.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it even says like rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky.
It does. And I think it's important to keep in mind the historical context, right? Like back then, this idea of dominion over nature, it was often used to justify exploiting resources.
Yeah, totally.
But when we look at it through a modern lens, right? Like considering the environmental challenges that we're facing now, it takes on, I think, a whole new meaning.
Yeah, I mean, it has to, because we can't just exploit anymore, right? Like we have to live sustainably.
Exactly.
So it's less about rule and more about like, I don't know, responsible stewardship,
Yeah.
like caring for the earth and everything on it.
I think that's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
It's like a reminder that we're not just here to take and to consume.
Right.
We're also here to preserve and to protect.
Right, and to protect, exactly. It kind of connects back, I think, to that awe that we were talking about at the very beginning.
And it does.
Like we're called to be caretakers of the very things that inspire us.
Yeah.
The very things that cause that feeling of wonder in us.
Yeah, exactly. I think Psalm 8 really challenges us to think about our impact on this planet.
Yeah.
And to find ways to really like live in harmony with nature.
Yeah.
It's a call to action, I think, even though it was written thousands of years ago.
Yeah, it really is. And then, as the song concludes, it's like we're brought back to that initial feeling of awe.
Yeah, we are.
It's almost like that wow moment is echoing throughout like this entire reflection, this whole psalm. At the end, it says, "How majestic is your name in all the earth."
I mean, it's such an effective use of repetition, right? It's like the psalm comes full circle, and it's emphasizing that awe that began the poem, right? Like recognizing the majesty of something greater than ourselves helps us to appreciate, I think, our own place in the universe.
I think you're exactly right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what does all of this really mean for us today? Like Psalm 8 invites us to think about the vastness of creation, our place in it, our role as caretakers. I mean, it's a message it's both humbling and empowering at the same time.
It really is. We are small, but we're also significant.
Yeah.
We have the power to shape this world that we live in. And that power comes, I think, with really great responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, it really does.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, as we wrap up, it just leaves me wondering, like if we were to write a psalm, like a modern day psalm about humanity's place in the universe, what would we say?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like what words of wonder? and what words of responsibility would fill our verses. It's something to ponder, I think, as we wrap up this deep dive into Psalm 8.
Definitely, yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay, bye.
See you.